Welcome back to the show. Now we're getting the second half of our topics, and we're joined by a special guest, Maurice Hendricks. He's been on countless times in the past. A good friend of the show, not even a guest, just a part of the Full Scope family for years. But thank you so much for being back on, bro.
What's up? What's up? How we doing today?
Doing good, man. And to start off with our first album review with Travis Scott's Utopia, and his highly new anticipated album. This was really a musical experience from start to finish. It had a visionary blend of genres and cutting edge production. And the sounds were very similar to Yeezus, as many people have said, had very like a very strong Kanye influence. And this is an album where I really feel as though it's one of his most creative, if not probably his best creative album. I'm not saying that is his top one, but I really feel as though he's really meandering from different sounds, and really kind of trying to capture a different type of musical and just soundscape experience. But to you, Maurice, like, what did you think about this album and just how it sounded overall and some of like the high parts of it?
Yeah, dude. I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like it definitely took me a while to like appreciate the project for what it is. Especially at first listen, I was like, it sounds a lot like Yeezus, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? A lot like a Kanye album, but it felt like less than a Kanye album because it's Travis Scott, right? So like, um, I feel like overall though, I really enjoyed the project over time after listening to it a couple times. And it grew on me a lot. It grew on me a lot. But I think I see the vision of what he's trying to do, and like I will say, like I feel like Travis always is going to deliver you a unique experience when listening to an album.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I feel like he's just not the best rapper all the time, you know. So I feel like that was
That's
a disconnect with
And that was another thing I was going to mention. That was another thing I was going to mention. Like, a lot of times the production is so good, but the
Mm-hmm.
lyricism just isn't there. Like, it's almost like if you had a different rapper to match that production, it would almost sound like an A-level type album.
yeah, exactly.
What were in terms of like? Do you feel as though the Kanye influence was too strong on it? Because like there were songs like maybe like songs like Circus Maximus, even God's Country. I think God's Country and Telekinesis was supposed to originally be on Donda. Like those were Donda
Mm.
leftovers. Then Travis used them for this project. Like, do you think was the Kanye influence too strong on it, or do you think it was one of those things where you could notice it, but it was just like, okay, he's just using this from kind of one of his idols to replicate for this project?
You know, one of the interesting things is I was watching like I think the Joe Budden podcast. They were talking about how it's actually not even that Travis sounds like Kanye. It's like Kanye sounds like Travis
Travis,
apparently.
okay.
So maybe the influence of Yeezus was Travis. I don't know. I would have to like do some more digging to like verify, but like at least from their perspective, from the OG perspective, they think it's seemed to be the opposite, where they're like, yeah, like it's Travis influencing Kanye, not Kanye influencing Travis. But I don't know. I feel like to me, like a lot of the songs in this project do sound like something that belonged on Yeezus, and then like
Yeah.
yeah, like you
Even
mentioned, a
Donda.
couple of them sounded like some Donda leftovers. So
Yeah.
but then it just kind of goes back to it's not quite Kanye, but I think like Travis Scott did like a good interpretation of, except for Circus Maximus, because that was like a clear cut, like
Oh yeah, he
you
was
know,
just
like
that was a
yeah,
replica. And I like that song, but I'm like, he was just going like way too
yeah,
hard with the Yeezus influence.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. To you, Savon, what were your initial thoughts on this and your overall takeaways?
It was Travis Scott. I tell you that. It's just I'm not a fan of Travis Scott, really, man. Um, and it's a lack of bars, lack of consistency, and the cadence is more so like a airy, like. But even with Kanye, you get some bars, you get some lyricism. It's just not a consistent. One song he'll give you like crazy bars. With Travis Scott, he'll like give you some content, and then the other song he just be screaming, yeah, like it's just weird.
It's lit, you know.
It's not the
And I'm like, bro,
vibes.
this is like something if you're on like just some drug or something, you just had like a concert just going crazy, you want to hear this. It's just like, no, I'm not. I'm actually hip hop connoisseur. Even with these type of this style of rap, you still got to have some content there. You still have some bars, some lyricism there. So I mean, the production was crazy. Don't get me wrong, the production is always
Amazing.
crazy.
It was
Yeah,
immaculate. This is the best produced album of the year. I think this is the best
Yeah.
produced
Oh, yeah.
album of the year, easily.
No,
Yeah,
for
not even
certain.
close. Not even close. Yeah.
I don't
Nothing's
know.
matching
See,
this.
I don't know how much money did he pay for this album? That's what I want to know. Because producing would had to be crazy, bro.
Yeah.
These are like what?
Mike Dean was going insane
Yeah,
on
dude.
some of these.
Had Mike Dean,
Their
bro. I
connection,
mean,
man,
Yes.
is wild.
yeah. I mean, apparently he had a hand in all the production as well. So, but I think it was more so like he was like curating the sound versus like actually like producing. You know.
And, like, to you, Maurice, like, do you think, like, if the, obviously, like, the asteroid situation in that tour, that really, like, pushed back things and with that tragedy, like, do you think if this was put out last year, like, how different do you think this album would have sounded? Because I do think there were a lot of updates to this project.
That's the interesting thing. I actually think, like, if this project came out a year or two ago, it would have hit a lot better, in my opinion, because it's almost, like, so unexpected, right? The fact that, like, we're dwelling on he hasn't released in, like, what is it, 4 or 5 years now?
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think, like, there's more pressure on this project to deliver, and the fact that it does sound so much like a Kanye album, it's kind of, like, surprising to people that thought were expecting, like, Astroworld 2, for example, but I think it actually, like, kind of benefits him to kind of do something different than what we expect, because now we have people talking about it. Now we're like, I think it's good that we didn't get Astroworld 2, because if we got Astroworld 2,
It's a continuation.
There probably would have been a lot less reception for this album. But a lot of people like the fact that it's just so different than what we expected. Even if it does sound like Kanye influenced album, I still think people are, like, receiving it really well. So
yeah, definitely. Were there any, like, because I feel like for me, like, tracks like Telekinesis, I know also Thank God, I think those were, like, some of the highlights. Obviously, like, Meltdown, that was going to get all the attention in the world with Drake and Travis collabing again. Like, were there any, like, standout tracks or standout features that you kind of felt as though were the most memorable ones?
Yeah, definitely for me, I think my favorite song on the album is My Eyes. I think, like, that is probably the best
Frank Ocean
track. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's literally, bro. I was like, bro, if Frank Ocean was on that first part, that would have been amazing. I don't think anybody's gonna get that man out of retirement, though.
Yeah.
But so I think My Eyes, like, if we got an album for those, man, oh man, we would be having a totally different conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think I don't know. I don't really see, like, the hype behind Meltdown. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know. To me, like, the Drake verse was just like, all right. Like, maybe I'm just hating or something. I don't know.
Nah,
like,
you're spot on, brother.
Yeah.
Drake's slipping, man.
Yeah, he is. I agree. But Schizo with Young Thug, Paracel is really good, and then I really like Telekinesis with Future and SZA. So I think those are my standout tracks for the album.
Any standout tracks for you, Savon, or just 0 of 19? Is it just 0 of
all of them were amazing.
He probably like the K-pop, the Bad Bunny weekends. It's my jam right here. It's my jam right here.
Wow, Wellington. I'll let you get that one off. That's cool, brother. That's cool. That's cool.
That song did not belong on the album.
That's what I was saying. What was that? Why was that on the album? I think out of all the songs, that one felt most in places. All the songs had, like, more of a dark feel, but that one was just like a loose, like, pop radio type song.
That's why you put it at the end.
Yeah, it's just because it's Bad Bunny, dude. That's it.
He knew he was going to do numbers with Bad Bunny.
Gotta
get the numbers. And now getting to our next review with Post Malone's Austin. In this new project, Post Malone turns his sound into kind of a synth pop and 80s inflected style. So many of the songs are kind of catchy, and it does have a commercial feel to it. And some of the songs start with an acoustic strumming and delves into hooks and candy production. And this was an interesting project to me because he's kind of went into a different type sound because at some points in his career he tried to be hip hop. Now it's like more of like a pop feel, and he's just kind of like delving into. He's a really creative artist. Like, I think the songs on here, you can kind of put them on any, like, top 40 type track, and like it's gonna work with it. Like, what did you think about this album, Maurice, and just like the difference that he's going to with this sound?
Yeah, I feel like he's totally pivoted into this kind of new sound that he's this, like, kind of like post Sunflower style track. I think, like, I don't know. To me, it's still kind of it sounds like country music in my opinion, like but like pop country, I guess. So I wasn't that big of a fan of the album, to be honest. I don't think I'll go back to listen to any of these tracks, but I think like for his audience that listen to him for like this kind of music, I think they're gonna like love this album. You know what I'm saying? But I
He knew
think
what he
like
was doing.
yeah, I think like all his if he had like hip hop fans, I think like this album probably won't attract any
Yeah, no.
of those. Yeah, people will probably be like surprised, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of like my general overview. Like I listened, it was not my style of music that I listened to, but I won't say that it was like bad. You know, like I feel like it has its place in the audience. So
Oh yeah, definitely. To you, Savon, what were your thoughts on it? Because obviously last year he put out an album. There were some different high points that we kind of liked on the project. But what did you think about this one? Like Maurice was saying, it's a complete pivot from what we're used to
Yeah.
seeing from him, and it seems like he's going to a different direction for his fan base.
It was dark, man. First,
I'm
like the
telling you,
don't
the
understand. So I
lyricism
was
is
like,
dark. There's some dark lyricism on
whoa,
there.
yeah,
hey,
I'm too cool
brother.
to die. I was like, whoa.
Is this demonic? What is going on here? Like the first couple of songs you got to get through, and then I like Chemical. The
Yes.
first two songs were like really dark, and then Chemical
Mm.
kind of like lighting up a little bit, and then Morning was I will say about this, his songwriting and then his collaboration of songwriting has strengthened over the years. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest takeaway because
Yes.
it does sound like country mixed with like folky,
Yeah.
folk, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of both. I don't like country. Don't like country music. I don't care. I can't get with country music.
Just making that clear. Making that clear for the
Making
listener.
it clear. I like two country songs. Country Girl Shaking for Me.
I knew he was about to say something wild, outlandish.
Bro, when I was at Birmingham Southern, which is predominantly white, bro, they listened to country music. That was the only two. It was two songs I cling to, but it's three songs that I saved. Green Thumb, I thought was such a dope song lyrically, and I really attached because it was like a play on words. It was different. Green Thumb, but I think his songwriting and his collaboration songwriting got better on this album. But like you said, I won't really. It's only three songs I'll go back and listen to, but they didn't get saved.
And like that, it is an interesting thing. Like to me, Maurice, like when an artist like who's that's such big of it, like him dropping on the same day as Travis, because there were a lot of like reason he was supposed to drop this past Friday. Last Friday, but pushed back because of Travis. But Post Malone like still put his album out. No, he knows what his fan base is now. Doesn't have the same fan base as Travis does. Like, do you think it's one of those things where Post Malone kind of just knows where his career is progressing into and what direction he wants to take things into now?
Yeah, because I think when you talk about like appropriation, right, of the culture, right, and you take a look at like Post Malone's first album, his previous work, I feel like he always like attached to the idea without fully committing, like in terms of like committing to hip hop culture.
Yeah.
So he always like kind of like borrowed the ideas and kind of like latched onto that kind of direction that people were pulling him into after like White Iverson. So he's really just getting back to like what he used to do, probably like when he first started making music, which is like what he's really wanted to do this whole time. And I think he's like successfully kind of like navigated to that kind of to this kind of like music style making, and he has like the audience to where they'll like stay and like they'll like they were like here the whole time basically. So like I think he pivoted pretty well, like, and this album just kind of is like the indicator that I probably won't make like a hip hop style album. I'll probably just keep doing this, and this was kind of like the first album in that direction that's like straight up just no hip hop at all.
Yeah, definitely. And now getting into our next review with Nas's Magic 2. This album, which was another short one, but had impressive loops and high quality raps as usual with Nas. Includes features from rap legends and embraces the younger generations. Hit Boy does what he does best, crafting instrumentals that make Nas sound comfortable and challenge his flows. And it's really crazy just the type of run Nas is on, because I'm trying to think back to rappers at his age that have been able to do this, and you really can't find many that have been able to sustain this type of level that he's on. Like, to you, Maurice, like, what were your thoughts on this? Because I don't think many people expected another Nas and Hit Boy project this year, but kind of comes unexpected. And I mean, Nas just on a different level lyrically. Like, he's, like he said, he's in his on his third prime. Like, he's just continued to go on. Like, it's kind of crazy the run that he's been on.
Yeah, dude, I definitely agree. This album was very good. Like a lot of the tracks, just solid lyricism, solid production. You know what I'm saying? I can't complain too much. I feel like him at this age and him just like this late in his career, still being able to deliver, you know, that weight this whole time just kind of proves like why he's like one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? And that's really all he's doing now is just kind of like reminding us like, hey, I still got it. Don't forget. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know if he's like as relevant as like a lot of the other big artists, but I think he has his place in hip hop still. And he continues to kind of prove like why that's the case with projects like this.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. To you, Savon, what were your thoughts on it? Because, like, you know, all the Nas and Hit Boy projects that we reviewed, we've really been big fans of, and we love the fact that he's kind of staying on this type of run. What did you take away from it, and just your overall thoughts on you know, what he's continuing to do at this stage of his career?
Yeah, Nas has to be like the best lyrical guy out there who's ever grabbed a microphone. I think I saw a podcast where Curious One was on there, and Curious One is, man, that dude's so fire. He said Nas is that guy. Nas is over him. So just for him, Curious One to say that, it just sets it up for Nas to be. I feel like Nas is the GOAT, to be honest with you. Illmatic is still one of the best albums that ever was put out. And for him to be continuing to do this after over probably 3 decades, I'm gonna say 3 decades. He's about 61. People just don't know that yet. But the song that surprised me, no, he do be lying about his age, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You was around in the 80s, I think, with it was a lady rapper, Roxanne. They grew up in the same neighborhood, and Roxanne was like 15, 16, rapping. Yeah, and he was he was like 10. So you gotta be about 71. I don't know.
He's gonna be 80 rapping over Alchemist.
I'm saying, bro.
Alchemist going another.
We might get our first 80-year-old still rapping, bro. That would be so dope. Now still rapping at 80.
It sounds effortless. I'm not gonna lie though. It sounds effortless, bro.
I'm just gonna say this, Jay-Z, you gotta drop another album. If Nas keeps doing this, you gotta drop something.
I'm tired of Jay-Z.
Nah, man. Jay's still my go.
I'm tired of Jay-Z. Jay-Z, he's a prima donna, man. Jay-Z is Jay-Z. But the one song that surprised me, we're talking about that 21 Savage feature. Actually, he didn't do bad.
I don't man.
He didn't do bad on this show. Yeah. He did pretty.
Sometimes that's all you need, bro. That's all you need.
Yeah,
21.
Slaughter game.
Yeah.
But that would surprise me. The
Best
50 Cent feature didn't do what I wanted to do.
Only had 8 bars.
Yeah, only 8 bars, and I wanted him to be on the hook because 50 Cent is one of the best hook makers in the game still to this day. That boy get on the hook and just kill it. So I was thinking like get him on the hook and then him doing at least like 16, but he talked most of the time. We should go out.
We got money.
But nah, yeah, this is a solid album. 11 songs, precise. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, he's still doing that at a late age.
It's interesting because some people are starting. He's putting out so much music that they're starting to compare this to the other Magic project, King's Disease. Like, to you, Maurice, like, what is like your favorite or like one of your top favorite projects? That, because for me, like, Magic and King's Disease 2 will probably be my top ones from that albums that they put out. Like, what's like your favorite Nas and Hit Boy project recently that they put out in the last few years?
I was about to say I really like King's Disease 2. Like, I still go back and listen to some of those songs. Yeah, that album was just kind of just like wow, like it just kind of like it's just so cool to kind of see him like still in his bag, like it's kind of, it goes back to like the whole like, even though he's not like the same Nas as he was back then in terms of like visibility, I guess, amongst the game, it's like he's still out here just delivering, and there's like a niche audience that will like listen to that still, and all the OGs gonna listen. You know, obviously he's like an artist at this point, right? So like, yeah. So that I still go back and listen to King Disease too. So it's an amazing project.
Definitely. Is there a particular favorite one for you, Savon?
Yeah, King Disease. Like, bro, you don't go away from that. That was such a full project. And I think if Nas did a versus, his stock with the younger generation went
Will
up
go
like
up.
Jadakiss did. Yeah. And I think that's what kept Jadakiss relevant. And now he had features, all this stuff, but I don't think you can get anybody with Nas, not even Jay-Z. I don't think we want to see that because then it's gonna be Ether. Jay-Z catalog
like,
don't got nothing no Nas, man.
That's like a Drake and Pusha T versus like 2 years from now.
Bruh. That would be so stupid, bro.
Oh,
It'll be over after the first song, bro.
Pusha, you don't have Drake hits.
No, you don't, bro. You not like that, bro. You really not like that.
You are not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
No. And now getting into our next review with A$AP Rocky and Pharrell's Riot. This new single, this production from Pharrell had a lot of energy behind it and some unique cadences. There's also unique horn and synth sounds throughout the track that allow Rocky to entertain with an upbeat flow. To you, Maurice, like, what were your thoughts on this single? And just like, he has been having the build up to his new album, expected to be coming out either this month or next month. Like, what do you think about this single and just kind of like what the direction he's going to be taking into his new album?
Yeah, actually, I actually really like this song, and I think it does kind of build hype for the album. I think he had dropped another song before this. I forgot what it's called. But it almost is like two separate directions for like kind of the style of music that he's bringing on this next project. So I'm kind of excited to see like how they all fit in together. Because like I feel like this track is more similar to stuff he's put out in the past versus the last track that he put out was more like experimental and like new
newer
style.
Yeah.
Same problems, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for this new project. I thought he was supposed to release earlier, but yeah, I've been waiting on that A$AP project. I'm excited to see what he has next. So
definitely. To you, Savon, what were your takeaways from this single? I mean, new album coming out really soon. Like Maurice said, this song feels more of the old style of what he's into. The last single was more newer. Like what do you expect from this new album and your takeaways from this single?
No, I agree with Maurice. Like, this definitely sounds like old A$AP.
Yeah.
Back in the day, not back in the day. He's not that dang old. Prior to him dating my baby mama, ex-baby mama.
Yeah.
Prior to that. But no, this definitely sounds like old A$AP. You can tell he's having fun. He's back in music. He's focused. It seems like he's wanting this album to be. I love Same Problems. How many problems? It's like a different type of, I think, yeah, I'm excited about this album because that track, and then you get this up tempo, nice banger, has a little area in it, and he still got some bars. I think A$AP Rocky is an underrated rapper because, yeah, man, and it's that cadence too. His cadence is really dope.
It stands out.
It stands out, bro.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Ponytail win, brother. Just rap, man. Radical flow, though, man. But no, I'm eager to listen to this new album coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
How many baby mama bars you think he got on there?
About 5.
About 5.
Because when he was with Nigo, he said something about that. My baby mama, or some of my ex-girl, something like ex, yeah. But I think about 5. About 5.
Yeah.
It's gonna be mentioned. You already know it's gonna be. It's
Yeah,
gonna be brought up.
I mean, it's a flex, bro. It's a flex.
Yeah, it's Rihanna, man.
Come on, you got
whole head and all.
But next Friday though, Reason is dropping his album, and that's something we've been looking forward to. Obviously, I was Gorgeous Smith. She dropped a new single. Yeah, I know, Reese, you're a fan of what Yachty's been putting out. Lil Yachty's been putting out recently. I feel like he's been really, really creative. Like, you gotta stop hating, man. You gotta stop hating.
bro. You don't see what Yachty's doing, bro.
Yachty is doing something,
right,
man.
I'm not
Yachty
gonna lie,
doing
bro.
something, man.
Yachty's killing.
He's been
dude, bro. First of all,
2 singles out last night.
Yeah, first of all, this man, I don't know how he's all like buddy with Drake, but like that's a whole thing, right? They had like that
Production
summer
on Her
mood.
Loss.
Yeah. And then he had all the he had production credits on Her Loss. He has a lot of production credits behind the scene. And then but I don't even know. I don't know if y'all reviewed the last Yachty album, but that album
Big fan of it.
was
Big
dope.
fan of it.
Yes. And then
Savon
I
hated
love
it.
how he kind of just went straight back to his roots of like hip hop. Like he tried something new, it worked, but he's still gonna deliver like what makes Yachty Yachty, which is like this like the production style that he had like on Her Lost. He kind of brought that into these new tracks that he dropped last night. But yeah, he's killing it right now. I think he's I don't know, he had like such a big comeback from like how he kind of like fell off. And then now he's like back on
It's been his year.
on the rise. So yeah.
It's Drake, bro. You know, you do a
Yeah, that Draco sign, yeah, it's different for you.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
It's gonna take you all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to it. It's slide, right? These 3 slides, solo
Yeah.
step in, strike.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to it to see if he. I like some of Yachty's songs, especially when he's like rapping.
Yeah.
He can rap. Now, don't get me wrong. He can rap. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Lil Yachty can rap. It's just that. Like I used to hate that crap, bro. I used to hate it. Turn it off right now. But now when he actually raps, he's fire. Yachty's fire when he actually raps.
But because obviously as we mentioned earlier, Maurice, like, what do you expect from this Reason album next Friday, and also are there any other upcoming albums that you think could be intriguing, down the road?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this Reason album. I think that he did drop a single, right, or something.
Oh yeah, he
was supposed to drop the album. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I thought it was gonna drop, but he probably pushed it back because of the Travis Scott stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Smart move.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. I don't know who else is dropping. Oh, Drake is supposed to be dropping in 2 weeks after the Travis Scott album. So For All the Dogs, if that still comes out.
You think he's gonna wait till like after tour though? Like, would it be really?
I think it'd be
Is he really gonna drop during tour?
I don't know, man. He could do it in 2 weeks.
He could do it, but I don't know.
What is his last tour date? Anybody know?
October 9th.
It's got to be like late August, right?
His last one is October.
That's perfect.
October
right around
9th.
his birthday. Yeah, that's probably
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why would you say it's dropping in 2 weeks? I don't know. He's either doing the biggest cap or he's just trying to promote this long term. It's
coming out with these dog masks. So get out of here, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to say, bro, with him coming out with the dog mask and then just like being around the Travis like energy all the time.
He's been on a lot of features too. He's been on a lot of features.
Yeah.
He did the Off the Radar freestyle, so he's been.
Then he had the Bobby interview that went out too. Like I think he's coming with the bad thing.
You're insane,
Bobby. I think he's coming with he's coming with something though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it sounds like it's gonna be on some like more her lost stuff, not like the.
What would you prefer? Because you've been critical. You've been critical of some of his recent work. What does Maurice want from this next?
What do the dogs want, man?
Yeah, man. The dogs,
bro. I just want him to try again. Like I feel like that's the biggest flaw with Drake right now. Is like he feels like he doesn't have to try, which honestly he doesn't, because people are still gonna listen either way.
Yeah,
but I feel like creatively, I want to see something. It's hard though because I think
got that with Honestly Nevermind, but we got.
I'm gonna say
you know what I mean. So
yeah, he came with some unexpected stuff.
Yeah,
and I thought it was a solid project. You know, it might not be the best in that genre in terms of like him doing house, because it's still Drake doing house. But he did try something new. You know,
number 2. Bro, listen,
but like
man.
he's not going to ever give us like a full. This honestly probably is going to be like a Her Loss too. I'm not going to lie to you.
He needs to, bro.
Know?
If you're dropping,
you want it to be a Her Loss too? You want it to be like a continuation? I don't think it's going to be a continuation of Her Loss. If that's Her Loss, it's that's
can anybody hear me?
He said, "Go ahead."
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, just making sure because it was like staticky, and I was just like,
okay, go ahead.
No, y'all good. Yo, I was just making sure you can hear me. I didn't want to just text you. That's weird. I just interrupted.
But I was just saying, if it's Her Loss, that's not old Drake. I mean, he would be more of an rapping back, but I think like it's going to be a mix of the R&B melodic from his earlier projects, and because like in his earlier projects like Take Care, Thank Me Later, it was melodic mixed with rapping as well, but it was more
We're not getting
more
that,
you
bro.
know. So
We're
I don't
not
think
getting that
that's
because
what I'm
he's
saying.
not
We're not
going
getting
through anything, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
Exactly.
not mad
Yeah,
at
exactly.
nobody. He's not in
He's still
love
mad
no
at
more.
still mad at Pusha T.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
bro.
he's not
He's
gonna.
still
We're
mad
not
at
gonna
Pusha.
get that, bro.
Nah, we might get some
He's
beef
still mad at Pusha.
with. Yeah, we might get some shots. I don't know because Meltdown apparently
He took a
there were
lot of shots at Pharrell and Pusha.
Yeah.
He hasn't let that go.
Yeah,
He hasn't let that go.
yeah. So we might get some. We might get some smoke, a little bit of smoke, but yeah,
But
we're
not gonna get
getting
Jada
old
Part
Drake,
2. We're not gonna get Jada Part 2.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna get none of that, bro. But if you're
That's
gonna
what I'm saying, it's
drop
her loss.
consistently like this, like you gotta like try, bro. Because if
Yeah.
you're gonna do the Jay-Z thing, like drop or do something every now and again, but you're dropping consistently.
Yeah, like
So-
two
But
albums a
he's
year
signed
almost.
that deal with Universal,
Yeah.
that 500 deal with Universal. So I think he's having to drop a lot more frequently than.
Yeah.
Oh, that is right. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Mega
They
contract.
like, you got to
he
put out
did.
albums every year.
And he's putting out
While
crap
on
albums.
tour.
Like I have not liked any of the albums he's dropped.
Man, it's tough. It's tough. I just feel like not saying that the Drake era is over, but like there's just so many other
Who's
talented artists
challenging him
out
though?
there.
What's
Yeah,
the next
I
era?
know.
Like we got to find a next era. You got to replace him if you're gonna take him out.
Right.
I think
'cause
that's
if-
the key, right? Is
if
we
Kendrick
can't
and
find a
Baby-
big
oh.
replacement. Oh, go ahead, Zero.
Because if Kendrick and Baby Keem is what's challenging him, I don't think so.
Drake is laughing at that.
The
Hillbilly
Hillbillies.
song.
Did you
He's
like
this
that
what y'all
track,
do?
bro, Maurice? Did you like that track?
I saw
That pause.
I saw the vision behind what they're doing. I feel like Kendrick's
so
and Keem's their style together complements each other, and I think I see what they're doing with that track. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was dope. I don't know if I'm listening to it over and over again.
The
But
video.
you
was
know what's
good.
funny is that but like the funny thing is only Kendrick and Keem could do that. Like Drake couldn't make Hillbillies. You know what I'm saying? Because if Drake made Hillbillies, we all be looking at him crazy. But since it's Kendrick and Keem, it's like it's fine. You know, like that's kind of it complements their style already. So
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true. For you, Savon, final expectations for the Reason album before next Friday?
No expectations because if I get expectations,
that is true.
But I do love the message, the video that he dropped. I think
trailer
it
was
a couple
fire.
days ago.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the message.
Yeah.
So the last album he had a dope message navigating through the industry, him getting signed, whatever. But this message I think is going to be more profound. I think because, like I said, I think he's going to be the face of TDE. So I think it's more so him gearing up to be like Kendrick because I think the message is going to be strong with this one.
You know what? I know this person is not like a rapper. If SZA wanted to take over the music industry, like we talk about the Drake era, SZA could have her own era, but she's just not going to drop frequently. Like SZA really could have.
I don't understand why.
That's what I'm saying. She could really take over because that SOS album is phenomenal. Like she is 2 for 2. Like she can go on a run.
Repeat.
She could go on a run.
I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to kind of. I guess like when you think about like let's say like Beyonce had an era, right? I mean, she's still Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of compare, I guess, Drake and SZA in terms of like whether they can have an era at the same time or not. I do think like SZA is a huge star in this industry today. You know what I'm saying? And I think she's as big, if not like headed in that direction as like a Drake or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of like star power, I think, and influence. And like obviously she like killed it on the Travis Scott.
Oh my gosh, loaded.
The vocals were mixed terrible, but like we're not gonna talk about that. Like we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, I don't know.
Like Shanti said it could have been mixed a little better.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say it. They still says it.
Yeah, bro. All that money they spent, they could have toned down her vocals a little bit. But nah, I think that's just like her style too. Like it probably just popped out from her engineers worked on it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like she could definitely. I don't know. It's really hard to compare someone to Drake though. The run that he had, you know, from like 2008 plus, you know, like it's hard to kind of top that.
You look at the tour that he's doing. That man, he can go for 4 or 5 hours. Just I got songs for days,
bruh.
Bro, catalog is
it's just
crazy.
effortless.
Bruh. I think that's one thing Drake is really good at is doing the tours, man. The energy he's able to
He
Yes.
loves
bring
touring.
and
That's
just
what he
like,
loves.
Showman.
That's what he loves
Yeah.
nowadays. It's touring.
yeah, dude. Like
I mean, he
even
loves the
like
money too,
just
shit.
seeing just seeing his
That's
Instagram,
generational
like,
wealth.
bro.
That's generational.
I'm saying, bro, it just sounds like, bro, I want to go so bad, but them tickets are
Man, I
expensive.
want to
so I'm
go.
not-
Bro, what?
Yeah.
I see you on Instagram, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly,
see your
exactly,
Instagram.
bro. I see a
Not
new
doing
clip
that.
every week.
Every
and then,
day.
bro. And then that one girl that threw the, bro.
Oh,
she
yeah.
she like a whole Playboy model now, bro. The power of Drake
The
to make
Drake
someone
It's
effect,
Playboy
man, it's real.
insane.
The Drake
It's
Bro.
insane.
is insane.
change your whole life
dude.
in one day.
Bro,
Literally,
he
bro.
changed so many careers, bro. Like,
Literally, bro.
man,
Yep.
Lil
Crazy,
Baby would
man.
not be where he is today if What's Going on jumped on
Crazy.
that song.
Facts.
It's-
Facts.
It's crazy.
That, bro.
Um,
Drake the GOAT, bro.
He
Drake
is
the
the
GOAT at overall. But
Overall,
Nas is
yeah.
GOAT lyrically.
Yeah, I agree.
and now get into our last single with Snoh, Aalegra, Sweet Tea. In her latest single, with the song being kind of powered by atmosphere production and therapeutic vocals. I mean, she is still putting out smooth quality music. Just an amazing voice, and her gearing up for her next project is going to be another interesting album. To you, Maurice, like what did you think about this song and just what she's able to do consistently with the last single she's put out, and her thought process and direction going forward?
Yeah, I actually like Sweet Tea better than the other song that she put out last as well. Yeah, it just like, I don't know, she's so solid. She like the direction of her music. I feel like I could just listen on repeat over and over again. Obviously, there's like a lot of sample availability, I guess is the right word to use. Because she's just so talented with like her singing and then the production on her vocals and the music behind the scenes. So yeah, I really like that track, and I'm really excited for the project to come.
Definitely. To you, Savon, what were your thoughts on it? Because obviously we're both big Snoh Aalegra fans. We mentioned her music in the past, different reviews. Like, what have you thought about this single, and what she's what her album might sound like, and just what she consistently does? Because we know what we're going to get from her, and it's going to be high quality throughout.
Yeah, she's so consistent as an artist, and to this day, I've never heard anybody that sounds like her. She has her own unique sound, and I can't get tired of it. I still listen to the one album when she got so many bangers on there, and then she's so versatile.
Doesn't
I
get
mean,
old.
her live is even amazing, more
Yes.
amazing than just the regular album. So I know she's going to be consistent. I know she's going to give the audience, her viewership, her listeners, what they want. Is similar to the last album. I wouldn't mind it. It was the same format, but just like obviously different songs and a little bit tweak the production. But she's like one of the artists I'm okay with if she does the same thing over and over.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Just do what you, because her voice is so unique.
Yeah.
And you don't hear it, and she doesn't drop as much. But when she does, and when she does music, you just like, come on, just drop. I wish you would drop every day. I wish you'd be like Russ. Russ used to drop
Yo,
every
just drop every week.
day.
Oh my gosh, bro. It's a sticky sound though, for sure. It's just a sticky sound.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. And then I mean, she's beautiful too. That plays a role too. But I do like the cover art, the Sweet Tea, the concept of the song, and then it's just you get lost in it. You get lost in this track. It's a beautiful tone.
Yeah. Have either of you heard the latest Georgia Smith singles?
Yeah.
Actually, were they like the live ones or were there new singles? I don't know if I've actually heard
the Go 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 was the last one she dropped Wednesday.
Let's see.
Oh no, I didn't listen to the
Try
one
Me.
since
She also did Try Me, and
we reviewed one of them.
Yeah, I think we reviewed Try Me. Yeah,
and
Little
Try
Things.
Me I liked.
Yeah, Little Things. But she's dropping in September, so I think September 29th.
Okay,
yeah. Falling or Flying.
Yeah,
I'm still not over. You know what I mean? You did my boy wrong. It's okay though.
Who, Jizzy?
Are you never gonna let that go?
You did my boy wrong. But no, like some of her tracks is just like, because I would have never known her if it wasn't for who.
Drake.
That's true.
Hey,
that is
you get your
man.
like yeah. So
Georgia.
I'd be done wrong by Georgia any day. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, I'm with you. 2 thumbs up.
Did it over text. You didn't even call me. Come on.
Hey, but it's funny. How did people realize that he was talking about her?
I mean, he named the interlude after her, right?
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called George's interlude.
No, I'm talking
But that
about
was a more
Jaded.
like-
No, I'm talking
oh,
about
Scorpion.
Jaded.
I thought
I
you
know
were
it's
mentioning
not
age.
that, bro.
I
I
thought you
know
were
that. No, I'm not dumb.
I mean, he said
Like,
it.
Jaded after, no, talking about Jaded, okay?
Oh yeah. Jaded, yeah.
Talking about Jaded.
That one. That
He was like, yeah, he named it
Oh,
after. You judged me a little bit. It's okay though.
But when he said, "I want to be around when you're chasing," like you want to hit me up when you made it, like that made people think, okay, she's still on the rise.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, hey, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like she has her own appeal now, though. Like I feel like people stuck around just for her talent, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a beautiful voice too.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
But
take
I didn't
a
know
quick
she
break.
was from. Oh, sorry.
You know what? Go ahead. Cook. Say.
No, it's nothing.
Let
it's
him
nothing.
cook.
It's nothing.
Go ahead, man, bro. No, what were you about to say?
No, it was nothing. It was just I didn't know you were about to just end it because you was like, we're gonna. I was like, oh, I thought we were still talking. I'm sorry. No, I didn't think she was from over. You know, her. Overseas. She had an accent. Yeah, I thought because when she sings, she sounded like a normal person. And then she started talking to like Peppa Pig. Girl, I thought you were from Baltimore or something.
George Smith from Baltimore. Coming live.
Ain't that a Baltimore name, man?
We're going to take a quick break and be right back with our Oppenheimer review.